All right, we are recording. Hello, everyone. I am here about to receive a powerful session from Keith Wilson, aka. What's your AKA? What's your AKA of the moment?
The Chocolate Shaman.
Just Chocolate Shaman. All right. I also like you said something else, something with Willy Wonka. Another nickname.
Um, I hear that once in a while, but I've never really used it.
Hmm.
Actually, more likely to have Oompa Loompa.
Oompa Loompa, Oompa Loompa. Nice, nice. So yeah, I really. First off, I want to give thanks to my friends who introduced me to you, Crystal and Carlos.
Uh-huh.
And so also just name drop them. So if you're curious how I found you as well. Um, but yeah, I guess what struck me about your videos is really a lot of your perspectives, and I'm in a place in my life right now. I'm definitely going back and forth between, oh my gosh, I'm in my light, this awakening, everything's amazing. It's like very high highs and then very low lows, and I'm dealing with a lot of physical and emotional pain. But physical, I deal with chronic headaches for the last 4 years, and just recently am I fully waking up to the truth, or what I believe to be the truth. And seems to be changing every every few months, but at the moment it seems to me like it's all just stored trauma from childhood, from emotional stuff, and perhaps past lives. And it took me a while to really believe that, okay, like these headaches, I deal with a lot of depression, chronic fatigue, and so I'm just excited to talk to you and get a sense of if you feel anything, or if you have any new insights, and just to kind of receive confirmation and validation of some of these kind of, can say, pie in the sky concepts that one of the teachers I've been working with has been presenting. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the gist of, I would say, my suffering story of what I'd like to explore. But I'm also just open to kind of anything else that you sense and see that I currently may not.
Well, let's just jump into this. You're going through basically because you've said yes to this spiritual journey. You're going through an emotional, energetic detoxification. You're releasing the pain body, the shadow, the density in a process where a lot of it is happening on the physical level as well as the emotional level. So what we can do here is to help get more and more of it onto the energetic level. So you don't have to run everything through your physical form with such difficulty. You still have to do the work. All these things still have to move, but it doesn't have to be anywhere near as taxing on the physical form. So the idea is there's a huge range of techniques: energetic, meditational, vibrational work, energy work, that attempt to move these energies out of you or transmute them in place so that you have more room for who you really are. And that is the game we're playing here. is as you let go of who you're not, as you let go of the societal conditioning, you have room for more of yourself. And this you is a light worker, came here to be of service, especially at this time on the planet when things are going quite nuts, and it's going to continue for years. And when you understand that if you don't do your inner work, you process it through your body and through drama. You know, dramas with your health, your loving relationships, your wealth, your creativity. Because if you won't go in there and feel it, you will manifest into your life a drama that forces you to feel those things. Now, most of the planet is in this position. They're not ready to engage in one of the many forms of inner work. And so they're going to rely on the tried and true method, drama, forcing them to feel it. As they feel those feelings, those emotional energies move. Generally, if you're resisting feeling the feelings, you don't move all of it, and then you have a repeat performance of the drama, and then another one, and then another one. And now we've reached the place where the dramas are happening on a global scale. And it's just the beginning. For me, this coronavirus is the warm-up band, is the fire drill, is the prelude that is designed to help you find your center. So you can have the hurricane has this calm eye in the middle of it. So you can stay in that calm eye while the storm rages around you, where you can be available to help others who are interested, and there will be a few, to come out of the storm and into the eye. And so you're going through all of this stuff physically and emotionally to get an education in how other people are going to do it. They're going to do it through, Eckhart Tolle has been saying for years, chaos, pain, violence, and insanity in their personal life. He's not kidding. I get people on Skype who have so much physical pain that they cannot walk down the street and go to the store. They go to a hospital, they go through 2 scanners and 6 doctors. The doctors call it psychological, give them a bottle of pills and send them home because they cannot find any functional organic cause for what is going on with them. This is a limited solution. And the real solution is you. And all of the other awakening light workers, where higher beings have been saying for a long time, in the future, the doctors will be sending people to you. Yeah, of course, they're going to have to deal with vibrational or energy medicine, whatever they end up calling it. And they will. And they'll deal with it mostly because more and more people will be going to healers that work on this level. This level is where higher beings say, healing is access. It's not doing. It is access to the vibrations, resonances, and frequencies that if someone else accepts those energies, they change. They change their belief systems, they change their choices and decisions, and their life changes. So right now, pay attention to the energy in your hands that has been activating in the last few minutes. This is nothing new. You've felt this before. The hands are a nice place to experience at a distance where it's a little safer, the energy of your own heart or heart chakra. And they're even physically through your arms connected right into the heart chakra level. So this energy in your hands is showing you the basic energy you work with from your heart chakra. And that heart chakra is your basic centering, some from the third eye, but mostly from the heart. You work with love. The most powerful force in creation that is right now in all this chaos, massively surging, massively available to anyone who wants to tune in. So I can tell you feel this energy in your hands, and it's quite real. You can feel it radiating, emanating from your hands. Take your hands and ask this energy to assist you at the physical level in your body with symptoms going on now.
Out loud?
Any way you want to do it.
All right, we'll try out loud. Dear energy, please assist me in this sensation that I feel in my head.
Put your hands on your head if you like. Where the pain is. There you go. Doing it this way, you intuitively know you'll have a current between your hands, whichever direction it goes in. And you can imagine, you can literally pretend, they call it, it's a highly advanced spiritual technique called fake it till you make it. And you can pretend that this current is removing what is behind the pain. The pain is only the metaphorical symptom to get you in touch with something deeper. Below that is probably resistance. That's a common understanding. Pain is resistance. It's been out there for a long time. And this current, this flow of energy can literally transmute, dissolve, or move out of you whatever the pain is, a signal trying to get you in touch. So the basic idea is that symptoms are messages from the higher self. Whether they are worry and anxiety, whether they are actual medical conditions, or whether they're dramas in your life. Symptoms are a messaging system from your higher self designed to take you deeper. And this culture, by and large, says you need to get rid of the messenger and then you're healed. Now, you know, the classic kill the messenger and the bad news will stop. What happens is your system gives you louder messages. And the medical system and a great deal of spirituality is designed to get rid of messages. Yoga is a good example. You have a tight place in your body, you stretch it out, you get rid of the message, and you literally tell your higher self to shut up and quit bothering you with its messages, where it's trying to lead you deeper. Now, not all versions of yoga do this, but when yoga was translated into the West, it was not understood what yoga was really about, releasing you from your yokes, from the big, heavy collar that the ox wears, that's the yoke, to release you from your burdens you're carrying around. but it became more physical and health oriented, flexibility oriented. Now, what's the difference you experienced in your head?
So when I was doing it, I felt it was a bit lighter. Um, I noticed some subtle changes. I also noticed this voice of impatience that's much louder, but I definitely noticed a difference. And then I noticed when I stopped, then the pain kind of came back.
Okay. So imagine that the impatience was the primary healing message that your higher self needed to get to you. That what is behind this, behind the pain, is impatience. And the pain is trying to direct you to the belief systems that tell you that being impatient is going to be a benefit to you. That it is better for you in your life to choose impatience than to not have it. So, what would you have to believe if you would believe that you need to have and keep your impatience? Why would you feel that being impatient would be to your benefit?
It would reinforce doubt.
Well, that would be a side effect, but
Or fear.
why would you keep impatience around? How do you believe it serves you positively?
It helps me run away from the messengers. It's like, oh, this isn't working, so run to the next one instead of actually fully receiving the message, the symptom.
All right, beautiful. Now, why wouldn't you want to fully receive it? What would be the purpose, the belief that it's better that you do not receive it?
Fear of my own light.
Beautiful. Your light, your magic, your power, your
Power.
abilities.
Fear of knowing who I truly am or experiencing.
Yes. And for you, fear of success.
Hmm.
Not fear of failure, but fear of success. Because your life will change. And as brilliant as you are, other people, if you step into actualizing that light, other people will put demands on you.
Hmm.
They'll want things. You'll lose your freedom. You will gain responsibilities. Now, it doesn't really matter whether that'll happen or it won't. What matters is that you've determined that you want to stay safe from it and not step into your light, your gifts, your abilities, your magic, defining magic as today's magic is tomorrow's physics.
Hmm.
So here, your body consciousness in partnership with your higher self is trying to send you messages that these belief systems hurt. They get in your way. They get in the way from the fulfillment of the plan, the life mission, the purpose, whatever you like, that you came here to do. And so while on the one hand they keep you safe, on the other hand, the lack of fulfillment and purpose begins to become pretty heavy and pretty obvious, that you are missing something. Yes?
Currently, you mean, or when the symptoms started to really take over my life?
Currently, right now,
As far
where
as
you're restricting yourself.
I'm not sure that exactly resonates. Feel free, I mean, challenge me.
All
To me,
right,
it feels, yeah, okay.
what is the energy radiating directly from your heart, right out the front of your chest right now?
I'm seeing like a dagger, like a knife.
That's what keeps it shut down. But in spite of the knife, what is the energy that's radiating now? That even this wound you've given yourself cannot slow down, or can slow down a little bit.
Love, light.
It is, yes. Higher beings say this energy, as more and more of us channel it through us, is what will change the world. So your headaches are trying to tell you how you are blocking the job you came here to do to change this world by changing your own personal reality. By contributing this overflowing of light if you feel it energetically, or love if you experience it emotionally. You, like so many people, you have a huge channel. You are capable of transmitting very high levels of light, of healing energy, of transformative energies. And whether you give them to other people or whether you put those energies into ideas, projects, or businesses, that's just your fun. Your excitement, your passion, your fun, your love, that is the energy that tells you where you want to direct this energy. But this is the energy of pure manifestation. Reality creating, manifesting energy. And when you learn to direct it to the highest good or the higher self, it works even better, because then you're not trying to manipulate creation so much as you're working with it in a partnership. That energy wants to flow. You're using your rational mind to block it. And the headache is the metaphor of that clamping down on the flow of your being from the mental level. And it's in the larger picture, it's not even a problem, because from it, you're going to learn. And the authority you get from what you learn about how we shut down who we are is going to enable you to help other people. Because they will literally know vibrationally that you opened something that you, like they, were doing a really good job of keeping closed. And you found a way to open it. And that energy is what is transmitted to others. Not just person to person, not just when you're walking down the street, not just when you're working with a group, but it's literally transmitted all over the planet to increase those kinds of energies. Now, several things could happen. As you allow this overflowing or this channeling or this passage of higher energies, you could have a diminishing headache. You could also have a counterattack from the part of you insisting that you are not going to open up these energies. You mentioned past lives earlier. I think you do have some other reality experiences where you opened up these powers and got in a lot of trouble for it. But we all have that.
How do you see fatigue fitting into this? Is that just unmet trauma, so the body just shuts down? Because the headaches I experience are debilitating, but it's the fatigue that really takes me to my edge, where it brings me horrifying demonic energies and thoughts, and I'm just so low energy. It's like doing the simplest thing is tiring. That's what scares me more, to be honest. And it comes in waves. It'll be like a few weeks here. It's like unpredictable, and so what I'm opening up to is like, hey, I'm in control here. I've got powers. I've got agency, and I can rise above this. Where in that energy, it's just like, it's so overwhelming. It's taught me how to surrender. But now I'm actually at this point. It's like, okay, I'm surrendering to self-care, but beneath that, I'm also choosing this. I'm choosing to practice self-love, self-care for all the reasons that you shared. But in the moment, it's like, whew.
Well, you're dialing down your energy by literally not having it. So my question would be, who the hell are you that it's this important to shut you down? And it's you shutting you down. It's not any outside force or anything like that. What do you know about yourself that gives you this survival imperative to shut yourself down?
What I know about myself, it gives me this survival imperative to shut myself down. What's coming up is childhood, and perhaps receiving love if it was clearly a physical ailment, but if it was mental, emotional, then the needs weren't met or seen, understood.
That's there. You learn to manipulate for love.
Like learned helplessness, or yeah, manipulate for love.
How old is he? Where do you keep him in your body? This inner child.
Um, like 2 or 3 years old. It's like heart, head. I think he's everywhere. I guess
Go
that's
up in
something
your,
I'm also curious as I'm opening up to these terms like psychic, mystic, light worker, energy worker. You know, how when you say, all right, where is he? First, I saw numbers 2 or 3. I also could see a visual of myself around that age. When you ask where in my body, I guess it's not the mind that can answer. I have to follow the feeling. Yeah, just
that's right.
like the head is the loudest of the crowd.
Yes.
Or could I like scan my chakras and see, all right, which chakra is
Well,
it?
go up to your head because you figured it out. Open the prison door and sit down in the doorway and say hi.
Hmm. Hi.
Now, the 2 to 3-year-old is what's generally known as the magical inner child, is the basically enlightened being before you started to telepathically download society's belief systems. So here is your magic, power, wonder, creativity, spontaneity, curiosity. And to stay safe, you've imprisoned him in your head. And what is he ready for? Has he been waiting for you? Is he afraid of you?
Mm, no, not afraid. Waiting. Yeah, but it feels like it's like, all right, welcome back.
Uh-huh.
Which,
Well, give him a big hug.
yeah. Hmm.
And, say, I'm sorry for trying to get rid of you, but, that was the journey that you both knew you were going to take.
Hmm.
And say, I think I'm going to need your help. We're going to have to do this together.
Yeah, we get to do this together. I've been visualizing like always holding the baby, like a football player, you know.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So yeah, bringing the inner child with me, because yeah, this is helpful because in one of the previous sessions I had, and to give you more context, my spiritual teacher is someone who's a channel, so it's a spirit being called Chung Fu, and basically he was telling me that I'm in the period where it's like a newborn, and my job is just to basically be a loving mother for my inner child and just always there for it. What do you need? Oh, of course. My job is to love you. You're coming with me. and that anytime there's a symptom that shows up, it just basically my higher self saying, "Hey, you're not present." It's like anytime the soul is absent, then pain will arise or show up.
Beautiful. Now, take it another step further. How would you behave with this 2-3-year-old if you saw them as a wizard, as an enlightened being, as wise and understanding?
Hmm. Ooh. I just went from the mother to a disciple.
Now you've got it.
Hmm.
But this is a teacher where it is to be a partnership, a co-creative and co-cooperative partnership. Not truly you are just the disciple, and not you are the parent. And you're going to show them what to do and tell them and lead them, you know, in the negative parent
Hmm.
understanding. But a partnership where both of you are absolutely needed. I will give you an example of that. Ask him to take you by the hand and lead you somewhere. In your mind, in your body, who knows? Where you've disconnected from something, blocked something, gotten rid of something, hidden something that you need back. Some part of your consciousness that didn't fit with a consensus reality. So in order to belong, you had to get rid of it. But you can't truly get rid of it. You can only hide it or pretend you've gotten rid of it or unplug from it or some metaphor like this. Now, he can lead you there, but he can't reconnect it. Because if the inner child could do this and you were doing that, it would be inner chaos. You can call in your higher self, your guides, however you like to work with it, and do what needs to be done when you've found it. And he can take you there. So you need each other.
Hmm.
And what I want you to notice right now is already the energy shifting.
Hmm.
You're a little bit resistant, and this is normal in the beginning, to having a full understanding, observation of what he's led you to, but it is changing right now.
Hmm.
And he's happy, yes?
Yeah, I don't
He
know if you
gets,
felt that. I just got like a energy surge. Just like,
yes,
because I think, yeah, when you said you're feeling resistant, you know, the warrior in me is like, all right, let's surrender 100%. So then I really did. I was like, okay, show everything. And yeah, honestly, I didn't really, I guess, of course, he's happy. But I guess I was so overwhelmed by that, the energy flowing. So
yes.
that, I guess, is the practice to, I guess, just keep coming back to him, feel the energy, both.
So right now, let him take you to a bit more of your warrior, of the warrior that can open and receive, surrender.
So it feels like he's just like showing me visions, almost like ayahuasca, just like taking me through. And the theme that came up was sports. He was kind of just, it wasn't like super, I don't know, traumatic or anything specific, but just kind of showing me. I used to play basketball. I don't really play anymore, but that essentially it was really showing me the trauma that I picked up being in a competitive atmosphere.
Uh-huh.
And then I grew up in Minnesota, so the Vikings. So then
Yes.
I got this like image of the mascot and kind of that like, you know, in a sense he's just like kind of waving these images of where perhaps you could say the masculine energy left wounds inside.
How about the distorted masculine?
What did I say?
Rather than the masculine.
Distorted masculine, like toxic masculine, unhealthy masculine.
Yeah. So what happens to a child who is basically and inherently by nature cooperative, that gets forced to fit in a competitive world? Yeah.
Contracts to fit in this
Yes.
small jar that society tries to put him inside.
And you literally have to get rid of who you are.
Mm.
To become who parents, society, and then later school expects you to be. And gives you the loving approval if you are that.
Mm. So this is all great. I guess one question, and I'm pretty sure it's from my father, or I'd say my bloodline, to be more accurate, of just skepticism and the impatience, is the timing of the pain. Is that just more of a karmic thing? Because it took me, let's see, I was quote successful externally. I was 24 years old when the headaches started really getting bad, if you will. And the number one question I get from people, because like the people you mentioned, you talked to on Skype, doctors, therapists, even for me, it was like healers, shamans, acupuncturists, non-traditional as well. No one could really make sense of what's going on and provide relief. But yeah, what's your take on kind of like, if you will, when things start to pop? Because the way I see it, as soon as I kind of started to listen to the symptoms, it's like I opened up the closet and I had 20 some years of stored trauma in there ready to get out. So it was just like, there was no going back to my old way of life. Yeah, is that different for everyone and just based on my experience, or is just like eventually the messengers got to figure out a new way to get the attention? Because for me, I guess, to get more specific, I don't even know what stories I'm reinforcing by sharing this.
Well, maybe you're not reinforcing them at all. Maybe you're letting them surface so they can dissipate a bit.
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff you
See,
share.
that right there, that is what a lot about what the headaches are about. You've accepted belief systems that say you must not allow these things to come up because you're reinforcing them.
Hmm.
instead of allowing them to come up, be expressed, literally be embraced, be accepted, be loved. And then they can go, they can leave, they can be transmuted. Lots of different ways to look at them. But if you're a bad person for allowing those certain things up, then what you have to do is go into a state which you described as a very low energy state, where you can no longer keep it down.
Hmm.
And then, out of the old model, you refer to what's moving as demonic, in a sense. But most of the intensity is because of the oppression that you believe you need to do to be a good person, to not feel these things, to not have them come up, because if they surface, you are reinforcing them. Rather
Okay.
than trusting your system as an integrated whole. And it's very much like what would happen to you if you had a belief system that said you must refuse to pee or poop. It's going to build up. It's going to start taking,
Sorry, I'm
and
back.
it's going to come out.
Right.
And if instead you welcome it up, invite it to surface, understanding that the entire process is profoundly healthy
Hmm.
and absolutely essential. In the same way that at a certain point, your bladder is going to fill up and demand release. And the key is the belief systems that you have that tell you that to be a better person, you must suppress this. You must not feel these feelings or have these energies move. That they are expressions of the person you do not want to be. Now, the idea behind it all is that you wish to be a better person. Now, that's a wonderful energy to have. I mean, it's basically known as integrity. We're only looking at the way that you have learned to be a person with integrity. And that is to not feel or experience negative thoughts or emotions. What if they aren't yours? What if, as an empath, as a sponge, a certain part of the density of this world, other people's pain, fears, what if you have a gift of being able to help with such energies? So these energies come from the collective, from others, from family, community, from planet. These energies come and they tap you on the shoulder. And they're saying to you, you know how to transmute these energies. We're asking you for help. But when you feel them, you determine that something is wrong with you, that you shouldn't be having such feelings. It's wrong to have such feelings. And then you end up in a place where you're trying to dam a flow that is already in process. And it gets in the way. You begin blocking a natural process that wants to flow through you. Instead of understanding that there is a part of the magic of this planet where a negative energy needs a little help. In the same way that you're quite familiar with stories of spirits coming to someone to get help in their transitioning. They haven't figured out how to leave this world or something. Imagine that an emotion would do the same thing, and that you actually have agreements to work on mass levels with such energies. Now you study those energies by putting them inside your body. That's called being an empath or a highly sensitive person. A sponge. But that's your educational process. So you study them, moving them, you put them inside, you learn what they are, you move them out of you so you can have room to eat more, you study it some more. When you get the entire process outside of yourself, when you're no longer running the energies through your physical form, then you can work with many times as much density. And it's totally effortless. It doesn't even require much thought. It ends up on autopilot. You actually don't have to pay much more attention to it than you do your own heart rate. Your heart rate goes up and it goes down according to what is needed. You go up a set of stairs, it goes up. So take a look at, let's make this into a metaphor. Take a look at the channel that comes in to your body, along which you move these energies. Look down that channel as far as you can. Where do you get this stuff from?
The universe, creation.
Uh-huh. Now, it's your channel. It's your commitment to work with these energies. So take the channel out of you and give it to some angel friends who can transmute it on their level much easier than you can inside your body.
When you say angel friends, do I need to know a specific name or just look and whatever appears there?
They're already there.
And this where? In the astral plane?
They're already with you.
Or with me? Okay.
You even think about it, and they enter your timeline in this now.
So is that why it's helpful? Or I see a lot of people, they call in beings at the beginning of a ceremony. It's like you call them in. It's
Yes.
essentially asking for them specifically, whatever their name is, to share the channel with you so it becomes less dense in your physical body.
Yes. You can ask by name, or you can ask for whoever would like to show up aligned with the highest good. Or some people say aligned with the light. Basically, any way you want to do it.
Hmm.
You're not going to have negative beings show up if you don't want to play with negative beings. It's free will universe.
So you said negative beings, and that's something I've heard my teacher Chung Fu talk about, um, entities in the astral plane and contracts, or basically he recommended to cut the ties in the astral plane. And I guess my logical mind has a difficult time understanding what what that really means. Is it like cutting
Well,
emotional patterns that I'm holding on to and saying I'm done with this, and for every negative emotion I suppress, there's an energy can come and feed off of it, like in Monsters Inc.
um, my understanding is that reality conforms to your description of it. That's an ancient shamanic understanding. So you're going to create a reality according to your belief systems. And so the idea would be, as long as you still have belief systems, that you have ones that work better for you than other ones, that are more in harmony with the flow of your own being. If you have belief systems that say negative beings are real and they're a problem and we all have to struggle against them and all of this, the universe, even your own guides, will be very happy to play those roles for you. That's called unconditional love. Whatever experience you want to have will be supported at other levels. But when you understand that we're all sovereign beings, then if you want to play with negative beings, you have to choose to do that. And higher dimensional beings are famous for saying, you know, if you've got negative beings bothering you at night, that sort of thing, 99.99% of the time, those negative beings are actually your gifts, your talents, and your abilities that you're afraid of. And those gifts are trying to connect with you. And so they get exteriorized as if they are outside negative beings attacking you.
So that you can tap into your power and play the game that they want you to play in the first place.
Or go deeper and discover that you are already playing a game and you might want to play a different one.
Yeah, all right.
That's more fun.
Nice.
In other words, nobody's making the process wrong. They're saying that your vast creativity is creating a reality according to your beliefs, definitions, attitudes, feelings. The reality is feedback. A lot of people call it the mirror. And most everybody that does will say things like, you know, the mirror is just not going to smile until you do. Because it's a reflection. And if you want the mirror to change, you have to change. And it isn't going to change until you do. And it's very much like the first Western person that I'm familiar with to discuss this was Plato. And if you go online and you read The Republic by Plato, there's a passage in there where the light is shining in the entrance of the cave, and the shadows on the wall are what people believe reality is. Now, the updated version of this is that the light of your being flows through the magical hologram projector that you are. And we're all taught that if we want to change reality, we go up to the screen in the movie theater and try and start moving, changing things. And if you want to change the movie, you have to change the film in the projector. You have to change what's on the film. And what's on the film are your beliefs, attitudes, definitions of reality. And when you change them, the movie changes. That's a way of looking at this. You create your own reality. There's no fine print. You either cause or allow everything. No fine print. That's an understanding from a channel being named Lazarus from back in the 1980s. Where he would say things like, reality is children's play clay. It comes in lots of colors and you're supposed to make anything you want out of it. And we're all learning to do that. And so you are literally having a beautiful, powerful experience that you can manifest all these medical problems as gifts designed to liberate you, as manifestations of your personal inner teachers, higher self. And all of these things have popped up where if you have a feeling that is not your preference, doesn't have to be, you don't have to like it. But if you push it back down and don't let it move, that has an effect. It's just energy. It's got to go somewhere. It's the flow of your own being. And if it's a gift that you have to move such energies in service to others and this earth, and as those energies begin moving through you, you judge them, then you're in a war. You're in a war between the expression of yourself as a healer in service and a group of belief systems that tell you that you should not feel negative things. And especially if you are an empath, a sponge, a highly sensitive person, as seems to be what you're supposed to call them these days. then your body turns into a war zone. Because you're literally requiring it to process all this planetary and people's fear and pain inside yourself instead of outside. And as that process goes on, you're fighting it. In the idea that to do so is what you have to do to be a better person, to not feel these things, to defeat them, to not, as you said, reinforce them. And so you're getting this amazing crash course. Crashing around inside you. A profound education in manifesting reality, in blocking the flow of your own being, and what happens. Now, if somebody walked up to you on the street and they said, I need help getting this burden off my back, you would help hold the backpack up, get it off of them, empty the backpack. You would do that without thinking. But if it was happening on another level and they said, I need help with these emotions, I am being overwhelmed with fear, with pain, with energies manifesting physically, and you had this big sign on you that said, I know how to move these energies. And you move them into yourself, and they get your attention because you feel them. And then you make it wrong. And then you're the good Samaritan helping the person with their heavy backpack, and at the same time, believing you shouldn't. That you're actually doing something wrong by helping them with something they're carrying and they do not themselves know how to deal with it. Questions?
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, appreciate the metaphors. Let's see, questions. Trying to think like what's most relevant to me, because I notice you're going into a lot of things that I would love to ask questions about. It's more like philosophy theory, but I want to feel into what would be most relevant to my life. Um, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about my experience with teacher plants and psychotropics. I've, I've
Sure.
I found that, of course, deep down, I don't, as my teacher has said, it's not the path itself. It's literally on the path. You know, you have to walk the path yourself. But in hearing you talk about it, I feel like I've experienced those realities so much more vividly under the influence of different plant, I guess ayahuasca, mushrooms a little bit, mostly ayahuasca though. And I'm curious, of course, I know to be careful of spiritual bypassing, and for me also the effects on my nervous system and my energy and the next day. So it's really tough on my body to do the all-nighters, and so I've definitely slowed down. At the same time, I find that it's almost like it does help in the sense that it helps me believe that, oh my gosh, this is real. This is how things actually are, or how they can be once I clear my energy body, and then I won't need the plant anymore. And it's just a lot of fun. So
Beautiful.
I'm curious, I guess because I know you, actually, I don't really know that much about if you have experience with them, but yeah,
I do.
because I guess you go by the term shaman. That's in your name, Chocolate Shaman. I feel that I'm of a shaman, a shamanic path. I'm a musician, also very sensitive. So I've held some spaces with medicines, but very small due to the nature of my condition. And yeah, I guess I'm curious. You can speak on that based on what you see and my energy around that.
Sure. All of us are contacted in one way or another by the tools, techniques, meditations, or rituals that will uniquely help us, that will, as many people refer to it as, they will act as permission slips to allow you to go and do things that you wouldn't be able to do without the tool, the technique, the plant medicine, the ritual, the meditation, whatever it is. And so for me, the idea is to allow yourself to follow that energy and connect with those tools that have a particular utility to you, and then use them until you're finished. And whether you're using a plant medicine, whether you're working with a crystal, let it open a world for you. Whether you're doing a particular technique of breath work or meditation. If you have the motivation, the excitement, the interest to follow it, there's a reason for that, and you will derive benefit from it. Once you're familiar with a certain plant medicine, you can get a lot of the benefit from it just by imagining yourself in that energy. And that's how they're designed to work. They're not designed to be a permanent support for almost everyone. For you, they've opened the door to another world that you recognize as real. And they've assisted you on many levels to step into that world. That's beautiful. And important for your journey. And so, I would say those tools, techniques, medicines, meditations, rituals that you're ready for will find you. You'll get the message. You'll have something inside that says, pursue that. You basically can't sample even a tiny percentage of what's out there. But it doesn't matter. Because if you understand that your guides, your higher self, those other levels of your own being, or whatever that is for you, and it doesn't really matter, the message will get to you. And in a way that you'll follow it. And if you miss the message, it'll come back. And it'll come back again and again with no judgment, no blame that you missed it. It'll be presented in a new way to give you the greatest opportunity to, aha, I get it. Oh yeah, you've been trying to get in touch with me for a while. So when you know reality or yourself works that way, then it's a lot easier to be open to the whispers. So if you just close your eyes right now, and just feel this part of your personal reality, where there's a part of you, even if you externalize it as guides, whatever, doesn't matter, that knows all about you, knows where you are, knows where you're going, knows exactly what you need, is totally committed to helping you get where you're going. And is in unconditional, patient allowance and love. Is not going to give up on you, ever. And whatever name you would give it, or part of yourself you would call it, even if you call it your intuition or your right brain, intuitive mind, that part of you is going to make sure you get what you need. You find the permission slips that will open the next door. It'll get you the keys, or it'll get you the understanding that the door isn't even locked. That part of you is the part that brought you plant medicines and teachers. That part of you working with the rest of you will continue to do that in whatever way is appropriate. It'll bring you messages in dreams. You know, the book will fall off the shelf. You'll be talking to someone. You'll see something and feel the energy and follow it. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of ways to have more fun.
All right, can I squeeze in one last question?
You bet.
Because I've heard you say on some video to accelerate your spiritual progress, get in a romantic relationship, and if you want to double down, enter in a business partnership with your romantic lover. And
or someone else.
Or someone else, right. I happen to be, I'm on my way to where you're at, where June, you had a session with her earlier this year.
Yes.
So it's amazing. We have so much love that we share. However, because we're both processing so much, I'm usually processing a lot more. I'm curious if you have any tips or advice around, space and boundaries, because we're both super sensitive. And when I'm in my process, it's tough to even say hi, good morning. It's like,
yes.
So it's not something I've seen very much material, teaching.
Well,
relationships, like empath, light working relationships.
Yes. What happens is that you have an agreement with each other to bring up, by playing out, the opposite end of the other person's script. The little repeat performance play they have going on inside. And you're going to agree from a higher level of love to play the other end of that script, which will guarantee that her wounded inner child comes up, or whatever adolescent or whatever part of the pain body is being worked with here, of the pain and the fear and the conditioning and all of that. And once you understand that you have made an agreement with this person, literally a contract, that you will help each other, she's gonna help you with your life goals, what you want to do in this lifetime, and you're going to help in the same way. So once you understand that, I put up a page a long time ago on my website called The Spiritual Relationship. So if you go to ceremonialcacao.blogspot.com, that blog format serves as a website, because back when I put it together, you couldn't get more than 5 pages, and I wanted more than 5 pages, so I used a blog format. And so over to the side will be a list of the different pages on the website. I have 15, 16 of them. And one of them is called The Spiritual Relationship. And it goes through 4 rules of how a spiritual relationship works. Play with that.
Wow, thank you. I definitely will.
I've had people who have written a book on the spiritual relationship tell me that they wish they'd have seen that before they wrote their book.
They ought to ghostwrite your book then.
I am a godfather, a kind of a de facto godfather, many, many, many times. And generally about Christmas, I hear from some people and they say, you know, because of that work, we're still together and our kids are out there in the world, and one of them's getting married, and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So
nice.
People who would have separated because the dramas and their resistance to the dramas were eating them alive.
Yeah. And what came up for me is how I can watch myself become her father.
Yes.
And I'm just like, how do you explain that empathically? Is she releasing the energy that she picked up and absorbed from her father because she goes into her child? So then because I'm in her aura, I pick that up and take it on?
Well, imagine that your consciousness is flexible enough that if she needed it for her own healing, you could literally channel her father's energy. It doesn't mean that you would be tapping into her father, but into that resonance where you would literally take it on to assist her in going into the energies that she needs to work with, the emotions she needs to work with, and the belief systems around it. That consciousness is flexible enough that you could literally slip on this mask and play a role. And that's what it is a role for her benefit. Now, if she uses that as a positive, as a gift, then she can go deeper. If she uses it as something that is wrong and needs to be fixed, and you need to stop doing that, and it's your fault, then generally the dramas are going to escalate.
All right. So I agree. I was operating under the belief that if I find myself embodying, so say the anger, frequency of anger, and that we're in that polarity dance where it's bringing out, okay, I'm in the angry father, she becomes or is or was in the energy of the victim. And I
Yes.
guess from my perspective, I would like to feel empowered. So if I raise my vibration, change it to joy, even something other than anger, then naturally she'll shift. Or is that
No,
it's like more I just gotta own it and say, hey, this is part of our
no,
growth. Yeah, okay.
no. The role is a service that she needs. So the idea would be to play the role more consciously. When you get angry, remain more in the witness consciousness and watch yourself play this role. Because what will make the whole process worse is if you go, I need to not be angry.
Hmm.
No, you need to be angry. And if you can be angry consciously, if you can play the role consciously and know that you're playing a role that is needed, that is literally a gift to give her access, then you don't get lost in the role. Then you don't judge yourself for being angry. And you will be better able to be angry in exactly the way she needs. In other words, your anger will be less colored by your emotions, and you'll be better able to tap into the version of anger, of control, of manipulation, of that she specifically needs to best access what she needs to access with the least trauma. And so it really, a theme of this call has been cooperating with your now as if it is a gift. You may not have found the gift. You may not prefer the state. But if you use it as a gift, the universe won't have to keep bringing it back. And so the spiritual relationship article on the ceremonialcacao.blogspot.com gets into the principles behind doing this. There's 4 rules. I'll go through them real quick. 1, it's never about them. It's never about the other person. The other person is playing the other end of a script. You ask them to do so. On a higher level of love, they said yes, that they will agree to act this out with you, to have this drama. But it's a script for both people. And when you get to the place where you go, oh, I know what my line is now, and then I know what your line after that will be, and then I know what my line is, and then like any play you ever did in high school, after you do go through it a couple times, you know everybody's lines. You know your line and you know your partner's line. And when you can go through a drama that way, you totally disempower it.
Hmm.
The second principle is it's not about what it's about. It's not about whatever happened in the kitchen. What happened in the kitchen is to take both of you deeper inside to what it's really about. The third principle is nothing changes until you do. If it truly doesn't have anything to do with them, it isn't going to change until you no longer need it anymore. The universe will stop giving you the gift when you no longer need it. And the last rule is actually the one we started with in this conversation. Pain is resistance. If it hurts, you're fighting some kind of a process. You're literally countermanding it. All right. Jeremy, I've got another person waiting out here with a cup of cacao. So thank you.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. Much love. Thank you so much.
Blessings.
Blessings.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Keep your dream fine.
Dream fine. All right.
All righty.
Thank you, Keith. Bye-bye.